I'm Rob Johnston.
I'm Catherine Barsotti, and we're from California. We teach at Fuller Seminary, and we're here
To teach a course in Theology and Film in the Doctor of Ministry program. Christianity is incarnational. We have the Bible in one hand and a newspaper in the other. But a lot of us don't read newspapers today. We go see movies. We want to express our faith in the vernacular. We need to know what people are thinking. We need to learn from others. God's truth extends beyond the church. We can learn from those in our wider culture, particularly through the arts.
We hope that they'll have a broad experience and that they might be touched personally by the power of film. We've done some spiritual exercises with film. We hope they might gain tools for ministry. We've talked about how they might use it in their ministry. But we're also trying to help them learn cultural exegesis, and film is just one way to do that. We could be using other art forms too. So we hope that they'll appreciate that filmmakers are actually dealing with questions of life and death and the meaning of life, and that Christians can engage that conversation.
We hope they'll have fun doing it. I think people need to be given permission, first of all, that actually we're much better cultural exegetes than we think we are if we just are encouraged to reflect on that which is around. Often the students the first day or two have never looked at a movie and then said, is it actually trying to dialogue with me? Is it trying to say something to me? Is it portraying something that might actually have substance? And as students among themselves start talking, actually the conversation goes deep pretty quick. And Kathy and I end up learning from the students as well as the students learning from us.
Probably one thing I've noticed, and not just here, is that students, that permission, because students come concerned about, can't culture also corrupt us as the church? And so the security wall is up pretty high, the feelers are out pretty far, worrying about that, which we're trying to help people relax a little bit and receive from culture, not be afraid that they can't engage it and make some judgments and discernment, but receive it first, and out of respect to hear someone else speak into our lives.
It's been really fun. There are real film buffs in the class, and there are those who, if they've seen more film getting ready for this class than they've seen in the last 10 years. And that's wonderful. We're learning from each other, and people are surprised at what's being shown on the screen and what that might do and say in terms of their own lives.
I think we spend the first day trying to even show how the Bible engaged the culture around it through all the types of literature that is in the Bible, and how the people of Israel learn from the wisdom outside themselves. And I think for some that once they have that aha moment of even our sacred text being impacted by culture, they're a little bit more ready to say, okay, I think I understand that we can draw from culture.
I think a second way is just by doing it. The surprise of a movie that somebody saw that they thought was worthless, or they thought had little at all to do with either themselves or with faith, and then their neighbor finds it to be profound and opens it up to them, showing why it was in fact significant even if they don't agree, or even if it's not where they are, there's a new appreciation of the power of story to transform lives and to express lives.
I think part of our class, though some of the students were a little, we don't study Ecclesiastes much, even in the church, and we were making the case with the students that it's a very postmodern book, and I think current films, or at least in the last decade, are really dealing with the messiness of life, and yet the joy, the gift of life from God, the Creator. Now, filmmakers might not point to God, the Creator, as the giver of that life, but they recognize that even in the messiness of life, there are these moments of surprise by joy and
Of wonder.
of wonder, of love, and that those films are scratching at something that our own tradition has looked at, and Ecclesiastes is a great dialogue partner for that.
The stories that are being told often are not stories of here's a problem, here's a solution, or here's the cause, here's the effect, but rather here's life in all of its compromise or messiness, and here's life in all of its preciousness and wonder and glory, and they're together. You can't separate them, but you can find God within them. In the last 10 years, I think, as the culture has been more open to spirituality, so in movies, what used to perhaps be absent is now present often, and waiting and inviting our own conversation and dialogue.
Besides eating lobster.
Eating lobster last night, that's right, with you, that was lovely.
Wonderful conversations with individual students. Just, that's the beauty of a D-Min program. You have all these folks coming from different contexts who've been doing ministry, and you learn from their stories, their contexts. I think that's been one of the highlights for me.
We're all going to see a movie tonight together. That'll again be fun. We'll talk about it afterwards over dinner. Those are really fun times when we can be a group of Christians who love Jesus and love life and are called to ministry, who are together in the task of how can we best understand the culture around us.